Thank you, Justin. So I'm
Yeah.
TheBloodborn, and I'll be running LEGO Lord of the Rings all mapstones for you guys. And I'm joined by my lovely commentator. You can introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Bearhead. Yeah, we're here and we are ready. So time will start when we click on OK in three, two, one. Let's go. So, all mapstones is a very simple, very easy category. This game has a hub world, which is the entirety of Middle Earth. And scattered around it are a bunch of mapstones, which you're able to collect and then fast travel to. So, the idea of this category is we go around and we collect all of them. But to start off with, we have to finish level 1, which is Prologue. So to start off, we're going to be jump attacking with Elendil, who has a sword which leaves a little area of effect on the ground, which instantly kills any enemies that walk inside of it. So that's the quickest way that we can kill them to start with, hence our jump attacks right at the start. The second wave will be a bunch of shield enemies, which we kill and then finish off with jump attacks. So in this run, this is the only level that we need to complete due to a bunch of glitches that allow us to skip over huge portions of the run. So during this section of the run, it's going to be a little bit slow. We see our good friend Bloodborn running it the way that it should be ran, with only one controller. And we will see him take an intentional death here, maybe. No, didn't quite get it all the way down. But he will be attempting to finish this level with 0 studs, which is super important and saves about 10 seconds. But we'll go into that a bit more at the end. Right now, we have these orcs who have spawned on mithril blocks. The mithril blocks can only be destroyed by the special sword that Elendil is swinging. And as you can see there, he has to wait a little bit before they're vulnerable, so he will be killing his enemy behind him while he's waiting for them to become vulnerable, just to save a little bit of time. So recently, and when I say recently, I mean like in the past 2 years, there's been a bunch Morgul Mithril. Yes, okay, nice fighter. There's been a bunch of interesting little things that have been found where we can launch and hit a lot of end of level triggers. One of them is in this area, but due to the difficulty of the triggers and not quite consistent setups for some people, we instead will just be going through this Sauron fight, which loses about 2 minutes, but it's a nice, easy fight. We will see him positioning himself at a certain distance away from Sauron so that he doesn't make his step forward into the character and try and stomp on him. As we can also see, we're holding up the character select menu, which makes us invulnerable to all attacks and everything. So we're just standing there and completely invulnerable while we're holding up that character select screen, which is why he's able to stand and just chillax. So, after this, we're going to enter into a section which will go by very quickly, called the climb, where we're going to be doing a bunch of different little tricks to speed it up, including some useful strats here and there.
That was the Sauron fight. Pretty classical
Sauron.
three-phase fight that you see in multiple LEGO games.
Almost every LEGO game has a 3 health fight. So now we're going to see the climb, the Miley Cyrus song, of course, where we will be doing triple jumps. So we are extending our jumps by double jumping at the longest possible time, followed by a sword attack, which allows us to triple jump. So instead of needing Elrond to do all these elf jumps, we're instead just triple jumping across the lava to get there quick. And coming up, we have a trick called a VSync launch. So we're starting in 30 FPS purely so we can do this VSync launch. Here we're going to roll onto a sloped collision box, and timing can be a bit hard here, so we're going to get this roll. We'll go into our options. We'll change our vertical sync from 30 hertz, which is lowering us down to 30 FPS, and we'll turn that off, which allows us to... It causes the game to rethink its life, basically. So it starts at 30 FPS, and we're moving upwards, and then when you go to 1000 FPS, which is what we roughly get in our pause screen, it freaks out. The game doesn't know what it's doing with itself, and it launches you thousands of meters up into the sky to make of a ratio of about 30 is to 1000, which allows that very high VSync launch to make a skip over the end. So we skipped a little far. As we saw, we just took a bunch of deaths there to lose studs. That's so that we don't see the stud counting screen right here. So there would normally, after this, be an unskippable stud counting screen, which lasts about 10 seconds. So we don't have to see that due to having 0 studs at the end of the level. Very nice, very easy skip to do. Obviously, we're also using no cuts, so we won't have to watch the end of this cutscene. And now is when the real run begins. So, all map stones. This is where we will start using 1P2C to move our way around the map, and we will go. No takesies backsies. Oh no. So here we're going to drop in the second character, and we're going to see a trick right from the get-go where as we're activating, we're going to pause and drop out, which skips a little cutscene that happens every time you open up a map. So there we do a triple jump around that lake, and this is something that allows us to skip into an area that we already shouldn't be in. So we're already in a place the game doesn't think we should be able to get to. Where we are right now is locked behind the second level Black Rider. However, we don't need to do that because of that triple jump. So, from here, we're doing a bunch of different tricks to make our way through the entirety of the Middle Earth and get to all the different map stones. So here we're going to drop in a second character because there's a map stone in Bree. Then we're going to do a VSync launch to get our way out over Bree, which is unleavable unless you can VSync launch. So we're VSync launching, and we'll get out of Bree with one character, and the other character will go to the map stone inside of Bree, and we will see a second glitch to do with the map stones that saves time and avoids the cutscenes. So there's 2 ways to avoid the cutscenes in this game with the map stones. The first is to drop out, as we saw with that first map, and the second one is we will collect 2 maps at the same time, and one cutscene will override the other cutscene. So right here, we've collected them at the same time. We will see one cutscene, but we won't see both of them. This is super important for later on in the run where we have people that need to stay dropped in certain areas because we can't get to those areas easily. So that's the reason this run is able to be so quick, despite the map actually being quite big, and to traverse it would take the entirety of the 20 minutes if we were doing it with just one character. So in this one case, 1P2C might just be okay. So we're coming... Yep.
So we have $30 from Nolan. It says $10 for every LEGO Batman run. Hopefully we can have even more next year. Thank you, Nolan, and thank you for your commentary.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nolan. I enjoyed watching the commentary. So here we have a trick where LEGO games will try and spawn characters in front of where the camera is, or at least LEGO Lord of the Rings will. So what we're doing is we are doing a triple jump into the river, where we will then drop out the second character and try and drop them back in. And it normally does work fairly consistently, where it will spawn them on the other side of the river. Now, this river is very hard to cross otherwise, and there we go. So third try is not bad there. That can take upwards of a bunch of tries, but third try there is very good, and we make our way across. Here we'll again drop in the second character and do a VSync launch. Sure, we're at 30 hertz so that we get our VSync launch is good. And with the second character, we will be running into Rivendell, up the Rivendell mapstone. So we got a VSync launch to get up towards the Pass of Caradhras, where we have one mapstone not in the Pass of Caradhras itself. I believe it is right outside the front of what's
Moria?
that? Moria, thank you very much. I sometimes forget names. But yes, so we will also see, most likely, I think every run I've seen Bloodborne do of this category, he's had a glitch where, let's hope he can get up. There we go. Where when he drops his character in, he gets a moon jump just by dropping in at this area. So we will see if we get that. If not, then it'll be lucky and a bit of a time save. So he's going to do the dropout method to avoid seeing that cutscene while still collecting the map. And then here he's going to drop in his second character.
I'm gonna wait a bit for safety. Reduces the chances.
He's
of
going
a
to wait a
jump.
bit to see if he doesn't get the moon jump. So he dropped it in, and the character didn't decide to walk over, annoyingly. There we go. Character's there, so he can drop him in. He's going to do another VSync launch to get over these stones here. All the while he will be... doesn't quite get it. Sometimes it's very tricky, but he will get it this time, I'm sure. And then he's going to walk Sam over to Moria while he's walking Frodo over to Lothlorien to pick up a mapstone there. So as you can see, this game is very broken. With the wide open map, there's a lot of things that we can do to get around extremely quickly in order to just make this run possible so quickly. If you were to do it without having all of these launches and stuff, then yeah, it would take a lot longer. We'd need to complete a bunch of levels, and it would be nowhere near as fun. So it's very lucky that we have all the launches and stuff that we do. So here we're going to collect this mapstone and drop out to avoid seeing the cutscene. And now we're going to be crossing the River Anduin. So this is... Why are you on top of it? Okay, interesting. So this is an interesting skip where we abuse the water physics of this game. So when we're in bounds, the water will, if we're in the wrong spot, drop us and make us start drowning, and then drop us back all the way to the last bit of solid ground that we have touched. However, if we go out of bounds with the water we're collecting, so we touched, there's a very weird small hitbox of collision there, which will automatically count as you drowning, even though you're not drowning. But that's all right. A second try River Anduin is still really good. This is a really hard trick, so getting it this quickly in a marathon run is very good. Ooh. And I spoke a little too soon, but that's all good. We will jump out of the...
Might be soft locked
in
here.
the water? See if you die. Oh, I'll drop it out. Yeah. Should fix it. And you can collect this mapstone at the same time.
I'll do it later.
Yeah, head back. Yeah, cast a curse for sure. My apologies, Bloodborne. But this time for sure you'll get it. So when you're in an out of bounds area of the water, you're able to keep jumping and pretend like the water's just ground, but you can't stay in for too long. Just pretend the floor is lava. That is
How?
your touch. I don't.
That should still be in
This is a.
bounds. Or
That's a very much inbound area. So we know the river fairly well, and we know where it is and isn't inbounds. And every other day of the week, that is fully in bounds and should not be warping us back. So that's very curious. One of those this has never happened before moments where this
quite
is
literally, yeah.
just becoming a strange bit of collision on the ground. But we'll jump our way through it and head into.
I'll just
No?
V-sync launch it.
Can you? I
Yeah.
don't think you can VSync launch this.
You can,
Can you?
with enough FPS.
With enough FPS and with pause flying, I guess you can.
No pause flies.
Oh, VSync launch from here.
Yep.
Ah, interesting. Yeah. One I'd never thought about. So instead of jumping into the out of bounds, we'll do a VSync launch. It's generally faster to not have to do a VSync launch because obviously VSync launches you have to go in, change your options, and can be quite quick. So there we picked up the Lothlorien mapstone and then dropped out so that we didn't have to see the cutscene, but we've still picked it up. And now we get to the final part of the River Anduin crossing, and that is we jump around this rock, and then we will head into the out of bounds. There's a little bit of out of bounds that we're going to head into. The camera is really not helping Bloodborne
Camera does
right
not
now.
like this rock very much.
No, the camera's not having fun with this. So,
Okay.
again, we'll jump up. We are now in the out of bounds. We'll head over. We're going to do a triple jump to get across the River Anduin one more time. And then we will drop in our second character. And this is the last time that we're going to be dropping in this second character. So from here on out, all of the mapstones that we collect will be in pairs, and they will be overriding another mapstone cutscene while we're doing it. So we'll do a quick VSync launch here to get to the top of this little area, which is what divides the two areas of the map, making it impossible to get from one side of the map to the other. So while we're there, we'll then jump across this river with Sam. This river can be a little difficult to jump across. So full focus with the one character, as once you're across this river, you pretty much get straight to the next mapstone where we will see Bloodborne overriding the cutscenes by collecting the two mapstones at the same time.
Generally doesn't matter too much if you have to wait with one character, because it'll be in front of the other character, and taking the two mapstones together saves so much time that, yeah, it's just worth it.
And yeah, so because the rest of the mapstones are synced from like everything that you collect, they're all roughly at about the same time. It's better to wait than it is to lose the time to collecting them individually. So we see Sam heading into the bog. Meanwhile, we are going to be taking a hobbit to Isengard, with Frodo walking all his way towards one of the two towers, which is
I'm also quite
very-
glad I got that river jump first try.
yeah,
It's
that,
actually a lot harder than the
was-
Anduin skip.
It looks a lot easier than it is. The triple jump has to get a certain distance, and then you have to be lucky with the water allowing you to jump straight back out. So that was very lucky that we got that first try, despite missing River Anduin a couple of times to a weird visual glitch. But now we're going to collect both of these at the same time, and then we'll override it, and we will see Frodo now heading towards Helm's Deep, and we will see Sam going to simply walk into Mordor. He's going to be doing a little bit of a roll launch as well, or a roll boost, which is very similar to a V-Sync launch,
Blackgate
but
first, though.
it's just without. Oh, that's right. You do have this one in front of the Black Gate. My bad. So we'll collect the Black Gate. And then we're going to see the roll boost into Mordor. So a roll boost is when you have higher than 60 FPS, the game freaks out because it was made initially for Xboxes and that type of things and got ported to the PC. So it doesn't expect you to have any sort of FPS. So when you roll, you often get a boost like that, where you're able to jump straight over high objects without like any sort of real reason for being able to do it. Like, it wasn't coded that way, but that's just how it is, and we love and abuse that. So one cannot simply walk into Mordor, but you can roll boost over the gate. So now we'll collect one in Cirith Ungol and one in Edoras, which is the land of the horse people, Rohan. So collecting these two map stones at the same time, and then after this we will head to our final two map stones, one in Minas Tirith and one in Minas Morgul. So the two cities are our final areas. Exactly. So with this final little bit, we have not too far to go. And as you can see, this 1P2C is a little bit difficult, but because staying on this tight little walkway can sometimes be a bit tricky, but nothing too hard for Bloodborne. We will also see, as we're getting into Shelob's lair, we will see a roll boost to get up into an area that we shouldn't be able to get into. Again, always something fun, roll boosts into areas we shouldn't be in. And that's going to happen in just a second. There we go. A beautiful roll boost. Very quick, very easy. And with that, it is not long before we will collect our final map stones. So Frodo's at his in Minas Tirith. A short walk down the secret stairs, and the map stone is on screen. So time is when the map stone appears on the map.
So in about 3, 2, 1, time.
Good run. Very well done, despite River Anduin being a bit wonky. So we're going to kick off straight from that into Pig Percent. So Pig Percent is a little category that we came up with one day in a voice channel where Loss was testing out the debug menu. So he was flying around doing all sorts of stuff. And on top of Mount Doom, we happened to see a nice looking pig who is named Chris P. Bacon. So the idea of the Pig Percent run is we have to roll V-Sync launch our way to the top of of the
Mount Doom.
wonderful Mount Doom, and then land on the pig. So the pig is rideable. So in a normal Pig Percent run, we would start all the way from the start and then run across the entire of Middle Earth, and then V-Sync launch our way up on top. But because we've already seen us run all the way across Middle Earth, we're just going to show you the V-Sync launch up. Now, if you're able to pause fly, which is a glitch which requires you to have 1,200 or more FPS in the pause menu, you're able to aim this pretty well. As you're going down, you're able to see where the pig is, which he will be on this rim. But if you're not able to pause fly, it's a little bit tricky to aim this jump. So let's see, are we going to get straight onto the pig, or are we going to have to... There we go, straight onto the pig. First try. So,
So, yeah.
GG's, Bloodborne. Very good job running. Very, very good pig percent at the end as well.
Thank you very much. So yeah, this is how you reach the pig that you could otherwise not even see without glitching your way up there. I think that's all from me. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Do you have any closing remarks, Bearhead?
No, very good run. Unfortunate that River Angelin wasn't nice, but
Very.
yeah, you did very